Right, come check this out. I have had these lights now for about a month or so, and I've been testing out the brand new MotoLights from LoneRider. They look absolutely fantastic. We are putting them neck and neck, side by side, right next to the new Denali D7 Pros. Now these, until these came out, the D7 Pros were the ultimate in auxiliary lights. They are modular lights. They've got some fantastic features and capabilities and an insane amount of light that comes out of them. The MotoLights, are they going to be as good? Are they as powerful and are they as worthwhile and good value for money as the D7 Pros? Well, we've put them to the test and we've got an answer for you. Stay tuned, find out more. Right guys, let's talk today about auxiliary lighting. Now, auxiliary lighting is additional lighting we put on our motorbikes to either see or be seen. Yes, to be seen because there's fantastic different displays of the daytime running lights, which I'll go through in a second for you. But of course, I do a lot of nighttime riding. I ride all throughout the year, and especially now where the nights are drawing in and it is getting darker and colder, we want to be seen as best as we can, but also have the best visibility as possible. Now, as an installer for Denali, I have been working with Denali now for a good couple of years or so, both supplying, installing, programming, and offering the best advice to my customers for what lights to go for. And until now, the biggest players in the premium lighting sector has always been Denali's D7 Pros. Now, the D7 Pros are fantastic. They are, at the moment, the biggest and best display of light and length of light, so how far it actually pushes that light forward. And of course, with this fantastic X lens across the middle of it, it also disperses it in a wide, almost like a fog light format. The reason these have really caused a stir in the market is because they are modular. So you have not just one light beam pattern, you've actually got two. And of course, if you plug it into the CAN-SMART controller, the EasyCAN controller, you can actually plug it into your bike so it doesn't mess with the electrics if you have a bike with CAN bus systems. And so you can actually split the beam. So in daytime, it's just the middle section, which is your daytime running lights at a very low percentage. And of course, when you put your full beam on, you've got the ability of having the outer four lights on as well. Now, they have been absolutely brilliant. They have blinded people when I need them to. They've made people aware where I am with the fantastic orange, because I chose the orange selective lens light display. But of course, at night time, they really light up the road fantastically well. However, LoneRider. Now, LoneRider is another brand that I've been working with for quite some time with their luggage side of things, and I've absolutely loved it. Not just the luggage, of course, the fantastic headlight guard you can see here as well, which I think really sets the bike off quite nicely and gives it that utilitarian, that rugged look that I like with my bike. Of course, the bags as well. LoneRider have been working on their version of the auxiliary lights. Now, they've teamed up with Hex. Hex, as you may know, actually designed and built the controller which works with these lights. So that's the bit you actually plug into your bike. And so they've come up with their own version. So instead of being the EasyCAN or the CAN-SMART controller, they've called it the MotoCAN. You'll see a theme in a second because these are the new MotoLights. Now, very similar to these, you've got the ability of having the daytime running light, which is the outer ring around the lights, which I'll show you now. You've also got a split pattern. So you've got the bottom half of the four lights having the dispersed or the fog light style light to really light up the road in front of you. And then you've got the top four, which also have, very similar to the D7s, that fantastic range that really lights up the road right the way down the road and make sure you can see where you're going. The main difference is you've also got this central spotlight as well, which comes on at the higher speeds. They call it speed blending. So when you get to a certain speed, which you can set, the center spotlight comes on and it literally pinpoints right in front of you. So if you are going down some really long roads and you just want to see that extra bit more, then that comes on and it is fantastic. You can also activate what they call beast mode, which turns on all the white lights to its full potential, and it is like daytime. It's fantastic. So what's the difference between the two? Price-wise, they're in the same sort of bracket. They are classed as premium lights, so they are going to be putting a bit of a hole in your pocket, but it is worth it. I'd be honest with you, if you are looking for something that's going to light up the road in front of you and give you that confidence of what you've got, you can't beat a set of these. Let's start by the installation side of things. Now, D7s, D3s, D4s, Denalis, all the Denali systems are working very, very similar. You have a plug which goes into your controller and that will either activate a left-hand side, a right-hand side, or a pair of lights if you're installing the lights. With the D7 Pros, because there is the main beam, the right beam and the left beam for the daytime running lights, or the center spots, you essentially need to take 3 cables from your CanSmart controller or EasyCan to make them work to their full potential. Now, of course, that's great unless you have a lot of other accessories. If you have other accessories like your sound bomb horn, your rear brake light, or any other pairs of lights, then suddenly you're going to find that you run out of room very, very quickly. The way to get around that is by having an additional controller. So it is going to actually work out a little bit more expensive if you want a full complementary set of Denali or any other accessories. MotoLights, so the LoneRider MotoLights, the fantastic thing about this, they've now been able to utilize EasyCan's white wire, which is essentially what they call the Easy Bus. This is where clever lighting is going to go. This has got essentially daytime running lights, bottom lights, top lights and spotlights. That's 4 light patterns, modules, whatever you want to call it, in one pod. Now, you can have the 2 pods off a Y splitter running down to 1 cable into that white cable on your EasyCan, or MotoCan as they call it for the LoneRider ones. So your very clever, very functional, multi-purpose lights only take up 1 space on your EasyCan or your MotoCan, which to me is fantastic. It is now allowing you to have another 3 cables free for your horn, for your rear brake light, and essentially another pair of lights if you wanted to as well. So that is a huge step forward in the smart lighting systems, and certainly the using the canvas system to its full potential. Okay, so let's concentrate on the Denali D7 Pros for a second. The D7 Pros have what's classed as an X lens, which you put on top of the middle 3 spotlights to give it that floodlight look and disperse the light a little bit, diffuse the light with a choice of either white, yellow or amber lenses. Now, as great as that is as giving you a dispersed look and obviously choosing the colour you like, that is really, really good. However, I find that that does then reduce the power and the length of those 3 lights. Now, of course, it's great for customizability to be able to change the colour that you choose. It's very easy to snap on and snap off the lenses, so that's really great if you want to adjust it on the fly. But I must admit, looking at that compared to the MotoLights solution of this, so you can actually change the colour of the DRL on the MotoLights with a software. So the software that comes with the MotoCan, you go into the running of it and you simply choose if you want amber or white as a daytime running light. So without losing any functionality, without losing any distance or length or power of the actual lights, you're choosing an individual daytime running light. I think that's a really nice, very smart way of using the Easy Bus, the EasyCan solution, and actually make the smart lights as smart as they can be. So a bit of a score there for LoneRider. Okay, so looking at the Denali lights, very similar operation to the MotoLights. You've still got your indicating function, so you can have those center DRLs running as indicators or hazards, as you can see here. And then when you go full beam, you have the full power of the outer and the inner lights as well. So it's fantastic, don't get me wrong, it's really good, but not as much functionality as the MotoLights. Okay, so it's worth saying at this point, do I prefer one or the other? Yes, I do. However, they are both fantastic lights. I am not going to take anything away from either of them. They are both premium, extremely bright lights. Is one brighter than the other? Yes, technically speaking, if I was looking at just on facts and figures, the Denali D7 Pros has a higher lumens rating. So the LoneRiders push out 23,200 lumens per pair, whereas the D7 Pros push out 23,800. So are you going to see that much difference on the road? Realistically, no. They are both that level that they are an extremely bright light, and they are pushing out enough light to fully illuminate the road in front of you. So you know, it's getting to the point now where brands are starting to chase figures and trying to get the highest amount of lumens, but realistically, for what they're designed for on the road, they're at the level now there that it doesn't matter. A few hundred lumens in this category is not going to make much difference at all. Price difference. It's worth talking about price for you. So the Denalis will cost you a little bit more. Now, I've worked out a price. This is based on an average price, what you're going to spend for the pods, a pair of pods, the cabling, the CAN Smart, and in this case, the under nose mount for the BMW GS. Obviously, other bikes will be a little bit different. You're going to be spending £1,120 for the setup. That's not just for the pods, that is for the full setup to be able to get them installed on your bike. If you go for the MotoLights, LoneRider's MotoLights, at the moment, they have a fantastic price of £889. So that is a good few £100 cheaper to get just as good, and in some cases, a little bit better of a product for your bike. What's my verdict? What's my verdict? Now, price aside for 1 second, putting them completely to one side, the winners in my eyes will be the MotoLights from LoneRider. Now, the reason I say that is because of the connectivity, how easy it is to install with the one cable into your MotoCAN or EasyCAN controller for the camber system. The operation, the fact it's got 6 different functional beam patterns and ways of doing it, whereas the Denali D7 Pros have got 3. So overall, what you're getting, I think the MotoLights, personally, I really like the DRL is separate to the actual beam pattern. So the DRL is not taking anything away from the strength and the length of what the beam can produce. So yeah, fantastic lights. I don't think you'd be disappointed with whichever one you go for. But if, like me, you have multiple accessories on the bike, having the MotoLights on that one channel on the controller for your camber system does make a lot of difference. If you're just having the D7 Pros and you're not too bothered about having a second controller if you need to down the line, then the D7 Pros may be the option to go for. Either way, guys, fantastic lights. Highly recommended, and if you are looking to have them supplied and installed, we can do that here at Shiny Side Up, which is my business here, of course, in Leicestershire. Any other questions, guys, please drop them in the comments below. We would love to be able to discuss it and speak with you and see what your thoughts are as well. But for me, the MotoLights are the clear winners for myself. It is personal opinion. I'll be taking the D7 Pros off and maybe selling them on. So, guys, thanks very much for watching. Really appreciate it. And for now, keep it shiny side up.